There's an intriguing news on the front page of the New York Times. Democrats, led by Joe Biden, have apparently decided the time has come to abandon their moderate ways and be politically bold and aggressive. How about that? Wouldn't that be awesome, folks? That's what we all want here as quote-unquote progressives, right? So the Times' Alexander Burns reports that the sentiment extends deep into the heart of the Democratic Party. Democratic leaders say that if they hold power next January, they must be prepared to pump trillions more into the economy, enacting infrastructure and climate legislation far larger than they previously envisioned, pass a raft of aggressive worker protection laws, expand government-backed health insurance, and create enormous new investments in public health jobs, healthcare facilities, and child care programs. According to Burns, this posturing is being echoed by a flurry of policy meetings with unions, think tanks, and politicians that are intended to sketch out this brave new direction, which sounds pretty good. He quotes center-right Democrats like Mark Warner and Michael Bennet as evidence of this widespread call for change in recognition that the party wasn't ambitious enough when it held power after the 2008 crash. Here's Bennett saying, quote, "I think there was not the same recognition 10 years ago that there is today. We've had 50 years of an economy that only works for people at the very top," Bennett said, adding with blunt impatience, quote, "I think a decade of not achieving the stuff that we need to achieve is probably enough." And I think this is really kind of interesting talk. This is talk that I think we haven't really seen from any other Democrat like in this kind of position at all. And this is really what this is a direct challenge of who was in charge after 2008? Barack Obama. Neoliberals were running the show. And all of the people that these people really purport to admire and would never be caught dead criticizing. And what he's saying here, however implicitly, is that the Obama and, by the way, the Joe Biden legacy was one of not getting it done, not going far enough, and not taking action in the way that should be taken action. Like, that is an incredible... the fact that he's daring to say this out in public shows something. And it really... maybe it shows that they're just desperate to win votes. They're going to say anything. I wouldn't put it past the Democratic Party. They've done stuff like this in the past, but I don't know. It's definitely something I think that we should be looking into for sure. It would be great to believe the Democrats are preparing to embrace the party's left flank and usher in a glorious new era of change, domestically at least, as some have noted. There seems to be no discussion of a shift in America's poisonous foreign policy to be found in the Times story if they get power in November. Some have noted that. One could be forgiven for having, say, a healthy dose of skepticism about the conversion we're being told has been taking place up and down the ranks of the party. Apart from anything else, it's probably pretty infuriating to read the policy list in context of an article premised on the idea that Democrats have seen a new light. Well, if you don't count little things like Medicare for All or the American Empire, which are pretty big. Don't want to relitigate the Democratic presidential primary, but the same forces that are now telling the Times they're ready to shake the system just spent a year destroying the campaign that was trying to do just that. They pretty much what they want is, what they're saying here is, we'll go far, but we just want our guy to be going far, so we can kind of tell him when to back down. We don't think we can tell Bernie Sanders when to back down. I'm supposed to be impressed they've suddenly discovered a widespread need for systemic change. I mean, this need existed well before the pandemic, and a lot of smart and decent people who were attacked and dismissed for saying so. For example, Michael Bennet, who told the Times that Democrats finally need to achieve some stuff in Washington, is the same Michael Bennet who went after Bernie Sanders so much during his own presidential run that conservative columnists signaled him out for praise. The entire Democratic establishment lined up en masse behind Biden's barely there platform just a couple of months ago, rather than throwing even a whiff of support to Sanders' more expansive vision. And now they want people to believe that they're seeing new things. Like, first of all, yeah, like, this is great, but here's one thing. If I could leave you with anything, it would be this: never trust the Democratic Party until, like, pretty much about this story. Honestly, I'll believe it when I see it. All right, we're back Thursday or Friday with a new episode, and of course, That's Interesting and Uncultured coming later this week as well. So a lot of fun stuff. Thank you so much for listening. It's Newsflash.